Today is 16th of June, market open positive. However, was not able to hold the gain, eventually retraced with a wide range bar down 8.83097. Now over here, we experienced very severe sell-downs and notice there's a series of gap. And yesterday was the first time managed to actually add out some gain, but kind of fizzled out. And similarly for today. Now the selling actually today happened on the last 2 hours, and this is probably reactions to the Dow future, which is currently down about 600 points. It's quite evident from the hourly charts. If you notice, the severe sell down happens on the last 2 hours. Immediate resistance is actually at this level here, which is 3165. Support is at this level here, which is not very strong, at 3068. Now the more significant support is actually at this level here, so this is important that it hold. This is at 3040. So markets actually is still weak and more biased towards the downside. Now the fact that we have huge daylights, of course the odd of a bounce is high, but very much depends on the showing in the US market, which has a lot of influence over our local market. This is S&P 500 on the daily charts. Notice the very severe sell downs, quite similar patterns we see it in STI, and at the lower channel line there was a bounce, and this happens after the announcements of a 75 basis point increase in interest rate. This is the weekly charts, and over here we have a bottoming tail, so they're timing a bounce, but at this point in time it looked very weak. This gap is also a form of resistance. Looking at the 40-week simple moving average, notice it's actually quite a distance and it starts to turn down. So it is generally bearish. By definition, it is now in bear territory. Now this is Nasdaq. Again, quite similar patterns, trading within the bearish channels, and there was an attempt of bounce. It is trading much further away from the 40 weeks, so it's generally more negative than S&P 500. This is your Brent crude, still trading within these rising channels and generally positive. Yesterday itself, we have some reactions to the interest rate hike, and that may indicate a dampening of the economic activity, and as a result the Brent crude actually moved down slightly, but it is still within this channel, which is generally positive. If we can continue trade within these bullish channels, the rise in price may eventually happen over time. This is the 10-year treasury yield. Notice very sharp rise. A sharp increase in the yield itself is not very good for the stock markets. So this is something we've got to actually take note of. Let's take a look at some of the stocks we've been discussing. This is Yangzijiang. Notice actually over here there's a breakout, but unfortunately towards the end of the day it retraced. Again, this is probably in reactions to the overall market weakness. Again, we'd like to see what happens if you can consolidate sideways. That will be generally positive. The T26 is still rising. Eventually take out this high here of 103. Now remember, markets generally weak, so any break on the upsides we have to be very convincing. This is Yangzijiang Financial Holding. Now, mentioned in the previous videos that there is a resistance at this level here. This coincides with the gap. It's also a high volume area, and that is at 545, and it actually retraced from there. Again, to the end of the day, there was a bit of selling and trading a slightly bigger range with increased volume. One of the recent strong stocks is actually Dynamic, but again, the stock has also some selling. Towards the end of the day, notice it's actually trade a bigger bars. Notice the volume is actually not very high, so there's some nervous selling here. Again, we'd like to see what happens. If you can trade sideways, that will be generally positive. At this point in time, we do have a small deeper setup. Bar high here is at 275. One of the unusual stocks that actually have moved up recently is Pan United. All right, a bit sluggish in the past, but we'd like to see what happens. This is a very nice break with increased volume, and the last 2 days trade a series of inside bar. Look for a break above this, which is at 465. Jardine CNC, you see similar behaviors as Yan Zijiang. There was actually a break, but unfortunately fizzled out. Again, we'd like to see what happened. If you can trade sideways, that will be positive, and look for eventual break of $32. Now this is dairy farm, held quite well, and it have formed very nice saucer patterns. So you notice a series of sideways bars. There's a contraction sellout. Look for a break above this high here of 295. Now remember, any breaks, small likely hit and runs. This is actually on the bigger context. It's actually a reversal pattern. So obviously we do have a resistance at this level here, and this level it's at about $3.